Yes. Alrighty. What's up, everybody? It is I, your tribal god of extreme Peter Joseph here for a Sunday afternoon video right here on the main channel, Killer of Demons 669. And as always, thank you for watching. Make sure you like the video, hit the subscribe button down in my pants, otherwise known as the description box below. So, do it now, as I said so. So, subscribe to my channels, all down below in the description box, or the gobbledygook, or my pants, whatever you want to call it. So do it now. Share the video all over the internet. Follow me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Leave a comment on this video or any one of my videos from the past, now, and in the future, Conan. But all these stupid comments, you get sent to the Shadow Realm, beaten severely, and then Ozzy and Satan will laugh at you and then eat your soul. So, go do it somewhere else, because you ain't going to do it on my show. And if you don't like it, well, that's tough cookies, my friends. And we move on. Alright, so like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, all that other good shit. If you're brand new here, well, welcome to the party, pal. We hope you enjoy the ride. Grab yourself a nice, tasty, cold one. Put your smelly, stinky feet up and enjoy the show. If you like it, great. You know, get out of here. But you'll stay because you got nothing else to do in your garbage fucking life. You claim you do, but you really don't. But it is what it is. And don't forget to hit that bell, too. So if you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome anyway. And that's that. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I am, out of breath. I'm tired. I am blah right now, but I do gotta go out in a little bit to do some errands with the missus and, try to stay awake, but we'll see what happens with that. It's been a long weekend, you know. Really wish I can just go back to sleep, but I got stuff to do. I can't, so I'm going to try to do my errands after I finish this video, and then I'm going to pretty much rest up for the rest of the day, and then get ready for tomorrow. Got some work to do. I got a doctor appointment. Get ready for the end of March and the beginning of April. We got Easter next Sunday. It's Palm Sunday today, so happy Palm Sunday to everybody. And to those wannabes and critics and haters, happy Palm Sunday to you. Make sure you wash your hands after you... to me. Because that's what Palm Sunday is to you people at home. Don't forget your Jergens. But I digress. Anyway, I hope everybody's having a great day and have a great week, as it's Easter week, the Holy Week, and we'll see what happens with all that. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we got the Mets playing today, trying to sweep the Pirates. They're tied at 2 in the 5th inning on last check. Game's not on TV, because I don't have SNY on the Rich Man's Dish, which kind of sucks. The dish doesn't have that, but what are you gonna do? But trying to keep score on my phone, but it's charging right now, so can't really go look at it right now. But it is what it is. But Mets are doing good. Yankees swept the Giants. It's the Giants. So Yankees are 3-0. They're going to Seattle. I'm playing in Seattle tomorrow. That's going to be a little bit tougher for them. We'll see what happens with that. Mets will fly out pretty much after the game today, and going to be playing in St. Louis, Missouri tomorrow night, Tuesday night, and Wednesday morning, and then they're on a plane to San Fran for the Easter weekend series on, I believe, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So we got all that. So baseball is back. Can't ask for anything more. And right now, the Mets and Yankees doing pretty good, but it's early. You know, we'll see how everything goes by the time we hit this time in April. At the end of April, we'll see where the Mets and Yankees are. They're still doing good, or they're struggling, or sucking ass. But we'll see what happens with that. And we move on. Alright, we got Monday Night Raw tomorrow at the Garden, the real Garden, the Mecca of all sports arenas. Roman and Punk will be in the building. Same thing with Oba Femi and Brock Lesnar. We got a tag team title match between the Usos and the Vision of Logan Small and Austin Theory. And the women's tag team titles are on the line with Lash Legend, Kit Gun, and Nia Jax taking on Bayley. Give me a hug. And the lassie bitch from Ireland, Layla Valkyria, the bird lady. And a whole lot more on your 2+ hour cure for insomnia, which is Monday Night Raw. And on Tuesday, we got NXT Roadblock, the go-home show before this coming Saturday's Stand and Deliver pay-per-view coming up. So we got a lot of pay-per-views coming up in April. Pretty much back to back to back to back. We got a lot. We got like 5 pay-per-views really. Stand and Deliver next weekend. Then the weekend after that, we got TNA Rebellion. The day after that, April 12th. Dynasty, or for you people in Australia, Dynasty. And then we got WrestleMania, which is night 1 and 2, so that's 5. So then after that, we begin May with Backlash. And we got Saturday's main event on May the 23rd. We got, I think, Clash in Italy. I think we got that. But Clash in Italy, I think, coming up later in that month. And also AEW, their next pay-per-view after Dynasty, which is Double or Nothing in New York City. My neck of the woods. And I wish I was going, but I'm not going. I might go. I'll try, but we'll see. We'll see what happens, because you know how it is getting over there in Queens, where Citi Field is, and where the new Metropolitan Stadium is going to be for soccer. The parking's going to be a bitch, but I'm taking mass transit, so. And that's a bitch, too, to get out of. So, you won't be home until like 1, 2, maybe 3 o'clock in the morning, depending on where you live. If you're taking a car or mass transit. And if you're going to Citi Field or going to Double or Nothing, please take mass transit. But you will be there a long time if you take the car. Or an Uber. It is what it is. Alright, but we'll talk about all that stuff when it comes up. But right now, everything I'm saying right now is going to be happening right now. What happened to then? I don't know, you missed it. But when will it be now? Soon. Just wait. Alright, but right now, ladies and gentlemen, on your Sunday afternoon, March the 29th, 2026, thank you all for watching right here on the Killer Demons channel. I'm Peter Joseph. I am a content creator talking about the wonderful world of professional wrestling or anything else I feel like talking about. And if you like it, great. You don't, then go watch somebody else. And if you can't do that, if it's so hard to do that, then you got problems. And you need to see somebody because you have a condition. It's called obsession. Get a life before it's too late. And we move on. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, as the Thunder Below says, after 8.5 minutes, your spiel, which you probably clipped and nobody cares, it is time for your, now we're going to triple header on this one, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for your TNA, Impact Wrestling, and Sacrifice, and Ring of Honor reviews, all wrapped into one big, huge smorgasbord of a review. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into Impact from this past Thursday, and we'll go right into the results, not the full results, we'll get to the results of Sacrifice, as this Thursday begins the short road to Rebellion. And that's pretty much it. Alright, so let's get to Impact, which, once again, for the final time, emanated from the Gateway Center Arena in College Park, on the outskirts of Bad Street, Atlanta, GA. Doo, doo, doo. Pretty much. Alright. The Gateway Center Arena at College Park in Atlanta, GA. And as always, our commentary team for TNA Impact Wrestling, Tom Phillips and the man who loves Rusev Day. And that's Matthew Waywall, otherwise known as Aiden English. There you go. Every day should be Rusev Day. Every day. Not every day. Well, almost every day. But every day we should acknowledge our tribal chief, Roman Reigns. Just remember that. Every day. We have to acknowledge Roman. Every day. And if you don't, well, you got problems. Alright, so let's get into it. Let's not waste any time with that. Alright, we got the opening recap and the opening sequence. We're ready to cross that line on Impact Wrestling on AMC. Doing pretty decent on AMC to start. Last week, 250,000 views. We haven't got the numbers for AEW or for TNA or SmackDown yet. We did get the numbers for NXT. Went up a smidge. Not much. Still a little bit above 500,000. Almost around 560,000. Not great. So, I can only imagine what Dynamite did. I think Dynamite did 765, I think, this week. Could be in last week. I gotta check that, but pretty sure Dynamite walloped NXT again. I mean, walloped. Even though this past week's Dynamite was still okay with Kenny Omega on the show, but if they get 765, you could thank Maxwell Jacob Bartknocker and Kenny for that. The same. But right now, AEW is doing some pretty good shit, and WWE is just falling in the toilet at the worst time. And it's usually not happening when it's WrestleMania season, but the build, as always, of WrestleMania has been shit for years. I think that for the past 5, almost 10 years, WrestleMania build has been garbage. I don't understand. You have your biggest show of the year, and you have high-profile matches, and the build to it is just Except for a couple of matches, rest of the card looks like horrible build. And I'm like, I don't want to see this. I know, next year, maybe in Saudi Arabia, unless the Iranian war ends, which it won't. So, I hope WWE has backup plans for Night of Champions in September. Or really in June. I thought it was in September. I read something that was going to be changed to September. Now it's still in June. But I don't know if it's going to be in Saudi Arabia. I highly doubt it. But we'll see what happens with all that. And WrestleMania 43 right now is in Saudi Arabia, but that could change. And if I had to move it to New Orleans where it should have been. I'm just saying. You can't put it in the Northeast in April. Kind of cold. I mean, you could, but it depends on where. You don't want to have WrestleMania being snow. It could snow in April, You don't know. It could be in hot. I'd rather have it in like maybe Texas or in the South. Like in Florida, like Miami or something like that. Just, warm. We'll put it in Arizona or Cali. Alright. So after the opening recap, it's time for Impact Wrestling. First match out the gate, Mustafa Ali and Order for the beautiful Puerto Rican princess herself. Well, not Issa, but Tasha Steelz and the Good Hands, Skylar and Hotch, along with Agent Zero. They come out, and Mustafa Ali takes on that fake YouTuber, Brandon the Entertainer, or BDE. And I thought it was going to be a good match, with Mustafa Ali and his high-flying acrobatics. Brandon, does a little bit of flippy-dippity-doos. They slug it out. Brandon hits a running boot into a handspring. Giddy kassa, bang! Not as great as mine, but it is what it is. Followed by a top rope frog splash. Not as great as Eddie's, but effective for a near fall. Did you like that one, Eddie? Nope. I did not get this. I thought it was clap. Why is everybody trying to be like me? I don't understand. Well, they're trying to emulate you because you invented the frog splash. I know, because I'm great. I know. That's why you taught Dom how to do it very well. What? Why should I? He's my son. I have to teach him everything I know. He's the foot of my noise, essay. Okay. We get it. Would you like some sangria? No. I got my own. Thank you. Yeah, but you drink Pepsi. Sangria's for Latinos. They get the mamacitas, you know, the ese pero. I'm like, hey. Hey, if I wanted some sangria, I like some sangria. Talk to my mamacita about that. But, you know, be nice to her. Then I'll have to talk to Joni and say, you know. I want to be nice to her today. Okay. Thank you. Show her my neck. Shut up! Anyway. So yeah. So here's a frog splash from near fall. They get back up. Ali hits a quick set-out power bomb, which sets up a swinging downward spiral. 1, 2, 3. Mustafa Ali gets the win over Brandon the Entertainer in a kind of boring match. 2.5 out of 5 stars. And then after the match, Order 4 jumps Rich Swann. The man goes all night long, all night. Beat him up. And then the Intercontinental Champion Trey Miguel runs in for the save. And then Jada Stone comes out, takes out Tasha Steelz. They have a cat fight. And then Trey Miguel saves her from Agent Zero about to chokeslam her to hell. He saved her like, oh shit. He kind of like, whoa! He ran out of the ring really quick. So we got that. And then we had a tag team match with Jada and Trey taking on, I think it was Mustafa Ali and Tasha Steelz. We'll get to that in when we talk about Sacrifice. But we got that. Alright, we move on. Alright, then the X Division Champion Leon Slater and the TNA World Champion Mike Santana. They're all ready to face the System later on. But they're ready to keep their belts at Sacrifice as well, which they did. And then Sonya Deville comes up, threatens Mike Santana with losing the title if he touches Steve Maclin. Well, I don't think that's going to happen. Unless he gets provoked. We'll see what happens with that. Alright, so 2.5 out of 5 stars for that. Alright, then we get to match number 2, another quickie match. We have Jeff Hardy, dude! Jeff Hardy with Broken Matt Hardy, yes! Wonderful! He takes on Brian Myers of the System with Mophead, Bear Bronson at ringside. And I think he had Cedric Alexander and Eddie Edwards as well. Pretty decent match. Nothing great about it. Getting to the end, the basement dropkick hits Brian Myers versus the Twist of Fate into an implant DDT for a near fall. He goes for the roster cut, gets blocked. Jeff hits the twisting stunner. Then the Swanton Bomb. 1, 2, 3 in a second under Stone Cold time. 3:16. So we couldn't wait for Stone Cold. What? I said wait for Stone Cold. What? Okay. So Jeff Hardy gets the win. And that's pretty much it. 2.5 out of 5 stars. Nothing to write home about. And that's that. And then after the match, the System jumped the Hardys and then the Righteous. They come out, make the save. And then Bear Bronson's all alone in the ring. And then Moose comes out for their scheduled match as Moose is just obliterating the System one by one until he gets to Eddie Edwards, which he did at Sacrifice. And I was thinking Alicia Edwards was gonna turn on Moose, go back with her husband. Nope. Match ended in a DQ. Ugh. So might do it again at Rebellion. I mean, we'll see. So we get that. So we get the Moose and Bear Bronson, Alicia Edwards at ringside. A little bit better than the last couple of matches. We get a spear count into a pop-up sit-out power bomb. That was nice by Bear Bronson for a near fall. Swinging Abyss, Black Hole Slam. Gives Mophead a near fall. Then they trade standing clotheslines, and then the System come back out again. And then the Atlanta Falcons, Moose's former teammates, they come over with a barricade, kind of cut him off. Not really any pushing or shoving, really, just cut him off. And then Moose hits the spear on Mophead Bear Bronson. 1, 2, 3. So another win for Moose. So he's taking out Brian Myers. He's taking out Cedric. He's taking out Bear Bronson. And now he's got Eddie Edwards to worry about a sacrifice. And it looked like he was going to take him out, but as always, a fucking disqualification. So unless they do a no DQ match at Rebellion, I think that might happen. I think that's where Alicia will finally turn and go back with the system. Probably, but we'll see. Alright, the match was actually pretty decent. Gave it 3 out of 5 stars, and that's that. Alright, then we had Miss Jackson, if you're nasty. Jakara Jackson, Mara Sade, ready for sacrifice. She's on the phone with somebody. She's doing an interview, actually, and then with Gia Miller, they stop. She thanks some guy. Some guy like, oh, thank you very much. Well, get out of here. And then she receives a note from somebody, says, read me. And then she opens the note and says, follow the white rabbit. So, we're following Allie. So she follows the bloody white rabbit. She goes up the stairs. And then someone from behind follows her. We don't know who that is, though. Could it be Rosemary? Could it be Allie? I don't know. But we do get more a little bit later in this program, and more at Sacrifice. Because Thursday was the 5th, I believe the 4th or 5th deadly sin. I think it was the 4th deadly sin, which was lust, and then Sacrifice was the 5th deadly sin. And I think it was gluttony. So this Thursday, we should get the 6th deadly sin from Rosemary to resurrect Allie. And then I assume that at either the week after that, the Go Home show, the April 9th edition of Impact, we'll get the final sin from Rosemary, or we get it at Rebellion. We'll see what happens with that. But I love the storyline. I love it. Probably the best thing that's going on right now in TNA. What is it going to lead to? I don't know. Besides Allie being resurrected and Rosemary's friends coming back, like Johnny Swinger, we saw Johnny Swinger, we saw, for some odd reason, Fandango, we saw Raven last week. I mean, who else is next? We'll see. We got that. So I gave that 3.25 out of 5 stars. Alright, then the System are ready to take out Moose and the Hardys. Eddie Edwards is sad to see his wife getting dropped as well, but she's made her choice to stay with Moose. She wants that BBC. That's what she wants. And then the Righteous is watching them as well. When they're kind of haunting them and stuff like that. We move on. Alright, back to the arena we go with a 6-woman tag team match player. We have Tessa Blanchard and the Diamond Collective of my girl Mila Moore and Alicia Fox. Victoria Crawford. They take on Honey Hudson, Myla Grace, and the crazy woman Jody Threat. She is wild. She's like a Tasmanian devil. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Whatever. Alright, so it was a pretty match. It's under 6.5 minutes. Everybody gets their stuff in. Tessa gets on a cheap shot from the apron. Then Jody Threat comes in, picks up the pace a little bit. And then cleans house. The heels are taken down with some flippy dippity doos to the floor. Tessa then drops Jody on the ring steps. Ow! And then gets back in the ring. It's a very quick buzzsaw. And finishes off Myla Grace 1, 2, 3 in under 6.5 minutes. Match was 2.25 out of 5 stars, and that's pretty much it. Alright, now we get to Rosemary once again, and this time it's Lust was at Sacrifice. This week we had Wrath. And no, not Adam Bomb. Remember when he changed his name to Wrath in WCW? Ugh. That was bad. But anyway, So we get to the fourth deadly sin, Wrath. And we see Rosemary and Allie, well, she's dressed as the bunny. They go up and see a man in a mask, and he has a creepy mask, and he takes it off, and it's Crazy Steve! Crazy Steve is back! Love that he has a bald head. Older Crazy Steve now. He's Crazy Old Man Steve, you know. So, Allie pops up behind her, and says, "Hi, I'm Allie, shut up!" Basically. Rosemary tells her to shut up, and then Crazy Steve goes on a humongous rant about how everyone has thrown him aside to rot. And he's like, "Where were you? Why am I here? He's pissed. He's mad that Rosemary kind of left him for dead, if you will. And he wants something for Rosemary. Rosemary's here to give it to him. Yeah, I bet. No, she only can give it to me, that Crazy Steve. She's my bride, not yours. Anyway. So Rosemary's like, "I'm here. We're here to offer our sacrifice to you. We're ready to pay and she's ready to pay the price." So she tells Steve to free his mind and sever their bond, and then starts kissing him on the head a couple times, and then we see that red glowing light, and then we get "to be continued." So is Crazy Steve coming back to the prophecy? Well, we'll allow it. Okay. Behave yourself, Steve. But we'll see what happens with that. But like I said, I love this storyline, and I give it 3.5 out of 5 stars every fucking time. Just amazing. Then we get that. Alright, back to the ring. We got old man Eric Young in a ski mask. Creepy man he is. Takes on my good friend who follows me on Twitter, Brad Attitude. He's also Issa's friend. That's how I found out about Brad Attitude, from Issa. Well, he was on X, and I didn't know, at the time, I didn't know who the hell he was. And then, when I looked at his profile, Issa was following him, because they're good friends. So I'm like, hey, you're good friends with Issa. You're good friends with me. So, we get that. Alright, so, under 4-minute match. Really, Brad Attitude got not much offense in. He hit a dive, which was nice. But then Eric Young's yelling at the referee. Hits a Death Valley driver. Chase the referee even more. Brad Attitude's like, fuck this guy. I'm gonna hit a dive. So he hits a flippy dippity doo. Throws him back in. And then EY crotches him on the top rope. Balls! And then sets up a pile driver! 1, 2, 3. EY gets the win. And then he left. Because he has to worry about Leon Slater with the X Division title. And, well, it's a pretty good match. EY attacked Leon during his entrance, but it wasn't Leon. It was some guy dressed up as Leon. And then Leon came in and beat the fuck out of EY. And then, in the end, Leon beat Eric Young to retain the X Division title. So, there you go. But you knew that was going to happen, most likely. A lot of people say, Eric Young was going to win. There was a chance, but not much. He had like a 25% chance to win. Minus Leon's 75% chance to win. You add that, it's a 100% chance of winning. If you do Steiner math. Which is complicated in itself. But I digress. See, if Steiner math was in every college, I don't think anybody would pass math. Unless Scott Steiner was, teaching. Maybe you all pass. I don't know. We get that. Alright, after that, we find out that Matt Hardy's been attacked in the stairway by apparently the System, where we don't really know if it is the System. And then the Righteous are right there saying, "What happened?" And Matt's like, "I got hit from behind." So, was it the System? I think not. Because we all know the Righteous have been going after the Hardys pretty much since Bound for Glory. So we saw what happens at Sacrifice, and I'll get to that in a little bit. Alright, 2.5 out of 5 stars for that. Alright, then the lovely Gia Miller is on the stage. She brings out her very special guest. I didn't think we'd see this guy ever, because he got his leg amputated. but he's here. He's able to walk somewhat, and it's Buff Bagwell. He's buff, he's stuffed, and the girls just can't get enough. Buff Daddy! Yeah, I love that theme. Better than American Males. American Males, American Males, American Males, American Males. Who thought of that theme? I bet it was Scotty, whatever his last name is. Not Scotty Too Hottie, but the other, Scotty, I forgot his last name. We got his ass handed to him in ECW. Scotty, it was a Scotty Thornton? I forgot his last name. But anyway. Alright, so Buff Daddy, Buff Bagwell, comes out for a surprise chat. Thanks God for being with him through the loss of his leg. But he also needs to apologize for his behavior over the last 20 years, ignoring the issues before 2006. With his whole WCW crap. Oh, it was bad. So, yeah. From 2006 to now, we forgive you, but before that, you're a maniac. No wonder you put Judy Bagwell on a pole. Go figure that one out. God rest Judy Bagwell's mighty soul. But anyway, so Buff wants to walk down that aisle one more time, wrestle for the fans one last time, and then, this guy comes out. Frankie Kazarian, the so-called king of TNA, has to ruin the party. He says Buff isn't walking anymore. He's kind of hopping, but not walking. So Kaz mocks him for that. And I thought he was going to, knock Buff over or something like that. But they kind of get into, a little shouting match. And then Elijah comes out and chases Kazarian off. And then Elijah's like, I want you, Buff, to walk down that aisle, and will you walk with Elijah? And Buff's like, yeah, sure. I thought he was going to do the whole, NWO thing. The whole my spot, dog spot, David spot, but my spot gimp thing with the NWO mock the Horseman. Arn, it'll be an honor. I was waiting for them to say that. It'll be an honor. We didn't get it. It was nice. It was nice to see Buff. Good stuff. But yeah, we kind of forgive him, but the stuff from 2005 back, not so much. We move on. Alright, so I give that 3 out of 5 stars. Alright, son, Tino Mulala, you son of my gun! He reveals that Matt Hardy's injured, thanks to whoever, and it's not going to be able to compete at Sacrifice, when it was supposed to be the Hardys versus the System. So Vincent says, I'll team up with you, Jeff. We've always been, we're friends, and friends do what friends do. I'll help you out. So Jeff's like, okay. So it's going to be Vincent and Jeff Hardy taking on, I think it was Cedric Alexander and Brian Myers at Sacrifice. And it didn't go so well for the Hardys. Well, for Jeff. And we get that. We'll talk about that in a minute. Alright, so I gave that 2.5 out of 5 stars. Alright, my girl Dani Luna, who liked one of my posts on X, should follow me too. She will, eventually. That's it. So my girl Dani Luna is ready to finally win the Knockout title at Sacrifice. But she has to get through Xia Li and Anya Grace. And, she says, when I win the title at Sacrifice, it's going to be Doomsday. Well, wasn't so much Doomsday, because somehow, someway, Anya Grace retained the TNA Knockouts title, and this Thursday night on the program, she will face another Xia, that's Xia Brookside, for the TNA Knockouts title. If she escapes that, I don't know who she faces at Rebellion. I'm hoping Rosemary, so Rosemary can get the belt back after 8 years. The Prophecy needs that belt back. I'm just saying. Alright, so we get that. 2.25 out of 5 stars, and we move on. Alright, then we get a sacrifice rundown. And we move on. Alright, and then we get to the main event of the evening for Impact. We got Eddie Edwards and Cedric Alexander, along with Mophead, Bear Bronson, and Brian Myers, take on the X Division champion Leon Slater and the TNA World Champion Mike Santana. Alright, so it was a pretty good match. And then, the system get cleared out. Leon with a big flippy dippity doo. We go to break, come back. Brian Myers almost has a distraction. Eddie Edwards gets on a cheap shot. And then pretty much go back and forth. Eddie avoids spin the block, hits the backpack stunner, and then Cedric's big frog splash gets a near fall on, I think it was on Mike Santana. And then everything broke down. Eddie tries for the Boston Knee Party and missed, which allows Santana to hit a Death Valley driver, and then he hits a big running flippy dippity-doo on the floor. But then Steve Macklin comes out of nowhere, chokes out Leon Slater, and he's like, come on, Mike, come on, hit me so you can drop the title. Come on. Mike doesn't do that. And then Leon Slater, after getting choked out, just like popped right back up, hits a super kick to Macklin, and then Mike Santana goes in, should have not went in, because Eddie was waiting for him, hits the Boston Knee Party, 1, 2, 3, in just under 14 minutes. Eddie Edwards, who has the title shot briefcase, he pinned the champ. So, not good, and that's pretty much it. So, the system get the win over the X Division champ and the World champ, and that's it. And that ends the show. Match was alright, 3.25 out of 5 stars, but overall, I thought Impact was decent, not great, but decent, so I give it 6.5 out of 10 stars, and that's that. Alright, now we're going to quickly run down the... the results for Sacrifice, hopefully, but we're going to take a sippy sip, so, here's to you. Eesh. Alright, we got that. Alright, so like I said, Sacrifice was okay. Ariana Grace retained the Knockouts title against Michael Danny Luna and Xia Li. With a little help from Stacks Mahomes. We had Mara Sade and Corey Jade in a no disqualification match. It was brutal. Mara Sade got the win over her. Look at that. On the pre-show, Ryan Nemeth took on BDE, and before the match, Ryan wanted to play Duck Hunt. That's old school. Really, really old school. He wanted to play a real game with Brandon, like Duck Hunt. Can you play something better than Duck Hunt? Like Zelda or Final Fantasy? That's a real game. But match itself was pretty good. BDE hits a springboard cutter. Frog Splash hits raised knees. Then Ryan with a fruit roll up with a handful of underwear. 1, 2, 3, he gets the win. Big whoop. So Ryan gets the win in the kickoff show. And then Jody Threat took on Tessa Blanchard with everybody else at ringside. Pretty decent match. And then Mila Moore comes in with a shoe. Who throws a shoe? Honestly. So, Mila hits a shoe shot to Jody Threat. Fell down like a house of cards. And then Tessa picked her up, hit the buzzsaw DDT. 1, 2, 3. So, like she did in the triple threat match, she pinned, who she pinned? She pinned Marla Grace, And now she pins Jody Threat to get the win. So back-to-back wins for Tessa. See where that goes with her. And we move on. Alright, so it was a decent kickoff show. After the Tessa match, big old beatdown. Jody Threat gets choked out with some cables. What are you gonna do? We move on. Alright, then we got the opening video. And then you start off with the X Division title, EY, Eric Young versus Leon Slater. Like I said, EY beat up Leon, what we thought was Leon Slater. He took the hood off. It's not Leon Slater, it's some indie guy. And then Leon comes from behind, flaunting flippy dippity doo. Then they start fighting for a while. Match lasted 15 minutes and change. So they fight on the floor. EY was busted wide open. And EY tried for, hit a pile driver on the apron, ow, for a very close near fall. And then EY tried a super pile driver, that got broken up, and then we get a Styles Clash into the Swanton 450. 1, 2, 3, Leon Slater retains the X Division Championship in a pretty good match. And that's pretty much it. Alright, then we had a celebrity at ringside, the One Man Gang. He was there, looked pretty much the same, but older. It was nice to see the One Man Gang, or Hakeem, Hakeem the African Dream. Where's the Slickster? Where's Reverend Slick when we need him? He's singing out to Jive So Bro, you're a Jive So Bro, you're a Jive So Bro, and you get nothing from your friends. Something like that. I don't know the actual lyrics, but good song on Power Driver, the wrestling album 2. I'm gonna have some Kentucky Fried Chicken while I talk to you. Pretty much. All right, then we get a promo from Mike Santana. Says the title represents the sacrifices he had made over the years, like missing with his baby girl to get here as the world champ. He got Macklin his job back, and as payment, he's eating his heart. And Santana's looking to retain and stop Macklin from ruining TNA, basically. We move on. Alright, match number 2, the hometown man, Cody Deaner and Elijah, take on Frankie Kazarian and Flop Dollar, AJ Francis. It's a pretty good match for 11 minutes. In the end, Kazarian breaks the guitar on the floor, and then Cody Deaner gets the down payment. And then he looked like he was going for the pin, but Frankie always wants to get the spotlight, so he upstaged Flop Dollar, hits Fade to Black, 1, 2, 3, so they get the win, and AJ wasn't happy about it. So, decent match, 2.5 out of 5 stars, and that's that. Alright, then we have the System getting ready for Jeff Hardy and Vincent. We got that. Alright, then Old Man Tommy Dreamer and the man who has healing hands, Carlos Silva, they come out. Dreamer talks about his history in New Orleans, Louisiana, because that's where the pay-per-view was. It was at the Alario Center in West Wago, Louisiana, which is on the outskirts of New Orleans. Tom Phillips from Eating English at ringside, as always. Alright, so Tommy talks about that. And he wants to bring out someone who was an inspiration to the company. So he brings out my boy, Chris Bay, who looks amazing. Still has his neck problems, but hopefully he'll be back wrestling. I don't know when, but soon, hopefully. Alright, so Chris Bay comes out, talks about the success he's had, and the future of TNA. And with that, he brings out the newest signee to TNA, and that's Bang Bang Sosa. Ricky Sosa, who debuted a couple weeks ago, so he is now officially in TNA. He comes out, happy to be in TNA. He's been working towards this moment for 5 years, and hits his catchphrase, and he signs the contract. I think he's going to be a future Intercontinental or X Division champion. I'd love to see it. Because him and Leon would go nuts. And him and Trey Miguel would go nuts. Oh, love it. We move on. Alright, then we see Tessa Blanchard cheating to beat Jody Threat in the kickoff show. We got that. We saw that. Alright, then we see Mila Moore following Allie, the White Rabbit. And then she sees someone. We see a shadow behind her. We don't know who it is, but then we do see it. It's Jessica Havoc. What? Where's she been? Oh, pretty much on Twitch. So Jessica Havoc pops up from behind, and then it doesn't fade to black. Cuts to black where you're. Yeah, Jessica beat her ass. That's probably what happened. And then to be continued, which goes into the fifth deadly sin of Rosemary, and that's lust. We'll get to that in a little bit after that. Alright, back to the ring for the TNA Knockouts title. Ariana Grace, Xia Li, and my girl Danny Luna for triple threat match for the title. Great match. But we get into the end, and Stacks shows up and he has a distraction. Xia Li comes back in, German superplexes both of them. Ow, for near falls. And then he saves his girlfriend from the Warrior's Way. And then Xia Brookside was at ringside, cut him off. Xia Li dives onto Stacks, and Ariana Grace, she dives onto both of them. And then heads back inside with a showdown with Danny Luna. They slug it out until Xia Li kicks her in the head. Hits Warrior's Way. We're about to get a new Knockouts champion, but Stacks broke that up, which allowed his hot wife, Ariana Grace, to pretty much steal the pin and retain the title, and people were pissed. But everybody was pissed. Ariana Grace still the Knockouts champion, thanks to Stacks. And now Ariana Grace has to face Xia Brookside this Thursday night on, I don't know if it's live, but probably not, but it's going to be on the next episode of Impact on April the 2nd, which is this Thursday. So we get that. Alright, we move on. Alright, now we get more with Rosemary. We see Allie. She gets Mara Shade to follow the White Rabbit, which is her. So they follow her, and Mara Shade meets up with Rosemary. And Mara Shade wants her to make Michael B. Jordan appear. The other Jordan. Not Michael Jordan from the Bulls. But is told to let the man have his privacy. Okay. And then Rosemary isn't about to stab her or send her to something like Wrestle House. That's what Mara Shade, I believe, said. And then Rosemary's like, R.D. Evans is rolling over in his grave. Yeah, pretty much. I'm like, what does this have to do with R.D. Evans? God rest his mighty soul, but I mean, I didn't even know he passed away, but okay, we'll go with it. So, after Mara Shade's match with Corey Jade, Rosemary says, I want to have a talk with you. I don't even get this. Why would the privacy need her? I don't get that. Maybe she has the lollipops. I don't know. I got something for her to suck on, but that's another story for another time. Sorry. We move on. Alright, then we go back to the ring. Order 4. That's Mustafa Ali and the Puerto Rican princess Tasha Steelz to take on Trey Miguel, the Intercontinental Champion, and Jada Stone. The other members of Order 4 out there, Skylar Hotch and Agent Zero, they're there. It was a pretty decent match. Long match for 15 minutes. Then in the end, Jada, with a tornado DDT, plants Ali. Prince Ali, so hits that, and a Canadian Destroyer sends Mustafa Ali crashing to the floor. Then he gets planted again, and a corkscrew moonsault gives Jada a near fall. And with nothing else working, the good hands, or the great hands, Skylar Hotch, zip tie Trey Miguel to the bottom rope. And and I think Tasha hit Dancing with the Devil, nice name for a move, then plants her, and then Ali pulls her up at a near fall. I think Ali hit that. I don't even know. Ali pulls her up at 2, and then hits the 450 on her, you bastard. So Order 4 gets the win right in front of Trey Miguel, which kind of sucks. So we might get Mustafa Ali, Trey Miguel for the Intercontinental title at Rebellion. They'll get something with Jada Stone and Tasha Steelz, maybe like a hardcore match or maybe a no DQ match, something. We'll get something with that. Then we move on. Alright, then Ardella Grace and her husband Stacks Mahomes, they start laughing at Xia Li, and then Xia Brookside comes in, defends her. They argue over their fathers, which is, who's her father? Not Tully Blanchard, but, I can't think of his name. Fuck. Anyway, so they fight over their fathers, so then Santino Marella comes in and makes a title match for Thursday night, and then Stacks calls his father-in-law a terrible father-in-law. You bastard. I'm gonna go Sunday dinner for you. Sucks for you. And you will eat the meat Mars! Probably. We get that. Alright, then we get a recap of Moose versus Eddie Edwards. Moose started the system, but then got thrown out, prompting him to go after each one of the members of the system, which he beat. And now Eddie is the final member, and then Alicia is now with him. So we got that. Alright, so we get to Moose and Eddie Edwards. Alicia Edwards is there. Eddie yells at her before we get started. Alicia then takes the candlestick away from him before the bell. Moose kicks Eddie down, and then Order 4's Agent Zero jumps Moose for the disqualification at 30 seconds. So this was like, why? And it was a result of a meeting between Order 4 and the System on the kickoff show, which I didn't even see that part. But, so, yeah, I guess Mustafa Ali paid off, or the System paid off Agent Zero to beat up Moose. So Eddie's a little bit pussy, you know. So, match was just a waste. A waste of time. We got that. So 30-second waste. And then after that, big old beatdown. Alicia starts yelling at Eddie, at her husband, Eddie Edwards, and Agent Zero. So maybe we get something out of that this week on Impact, with Moose and Agent Zero going at it. That's big beefy men slapping meat. We move on with that. Alright, then we get to Mara Sade and Cora Jade. No disqualification. They beat the crap out of each other. Near the end, we get thumbtacks. Well, we know how Cora Jade likes to get hardcore, if you know what I mean. She was in GCW for a little bit. Get a big old bag of thumbtacks by Cora Jade. Goes to the blackout, gets countered. Mara Sade sends her into the tacks. Ow! Then a slam. A slam onto the tacks again. Ow. And then Mara Sade with a moonsault. 1, 2, 3 in just under 9.5 minutes. Mara Sade gets the win over her former good friend, and that's Elena Black, Cora Jade, whatever you want to call it. Match was meh. Alright, then we're gonna talk about the world title match between Mike Santana and Steve Maclin. And then we get a recap of Jeff Hardy and Vincent versus the System. The System are the number 1 contenders for the tag team titles. Took out Matt, so Jeff is out for revenge, and Vincent stepping up to the plate to team up with Jeff. So we get to the match. Cedric Alexander and Brian Myers representing the System against Vincent and Jeff Hardy. And it was a pretty good match, and Jeff Hardy and Vincent were, they were teaming up. Felt like a well-oiled machine, but, and there's always a but, and it stinks, Jeff hits 2 twisting stunners, and then we see Matt Hardy on the Tron, and he's busted wide open, very bloody, on the Tron, and then Dutch is standing right over him. We're like, what's going on here? And he's like, he's doing his weird tongue thing, and he's like, So we're like, wait a minute, did Dutch take out Matt Hardy? And then Jeff's like, what the hell? He's looking at Vincent, what the hell? And Vincent just smiling, he's like, oh no, I knew it. The Righteous took out the Hardys, as we all knew, since pretty much Bound for Glory. So Jeff got hit with a roster cut, and then Cedric comes in, hits the lumbar check. 1, 2, 3, the system beat basically Jeff Hardy in a handicap match. What are you going to do? That's pretty much it. So it looks like we're going to get, I assume we're going to get the Righteous versus the Hardys for the tag titles at Rebellion, but you got the system waiting in the wings with their title shot, so we'll see. Maybe it's a triple threat, maybe it's not, I don't know. We'll see. Alright, then we run down some of the upcoming cards coming up for, we got a little bit of Rebellion, and we got this Thursday night on the program. We move on. Alright, then we got the Audience brand, minus Ash, who's still recovering after being called a mark by Mickie James. So it's M and Heather by Elegance with George the Iceman and that Timo Jack Perry, Mr. Elegance. They come out, they threaten ODB to not show up again, as she needs to stay in her dirty food truck, pretty much. So, on to ODB, one dirty bitch. She comes out, thinks a little 2-on-1 sounds a little bit good, but she's a married woman right now. Oh, lucky guy. Not Eric Young, but that whole marriage was just weird. They were mixed tag team champions, which was, I mean, no, actual tag team champions, I believe. No, they were women's tag team champions. I mean, Eric Young, a women's tag team champion. Go figure that one out. Anyway, so ODB's like, I have a lot of friends wherever I go, and including this woman, who's New Orleans' own Taryn Terrell, former member of the Dollhouse, who doesn't like all the garbage these bitches have been saying. These bitches be crazy. So she's like, why don't you say it to my face? And then Mr. Elegance thinks he's all hot and big shit, threatens to beat them up. Well, actually, he threatens to beat up ODB. So ODB's like, and then they're like, oh, look, we're 3-on-2. So ODB's like, well, yeah, 1, 2... Oh wait, let me bring out my other friend, Mickie James, Hardcore Country! So she comes out, looking amazing, evens the odds, and then Mr. Elvis tries to cut her off, but Mickie calls him Pickle Dick, which apparently isn't kosher. Why does everybody calling people Pickle Dick? I mean, I don't understand. Maybe they really have tiny wangs like, you know, like Max does. Maxwell Jacob Fartnog was the king of being the pickle dick. So, I don't know. Maybe Mr. Elgins has a tiny pecker too. I don't know. But I have a big one. I have a big, humongous cucumber in my pants. But that's what Wilson said. I digress. Alright, so the big old brawl, Mr. Elgin gets beaten up violently, painfully. Wow. You get destroyed. And this went on for a very long time. I was like, get this over with. And I think they got a match coming up at Rebellion. That's what Santino said. I was like, okay. So we got a kind of a 6-person tag. Alright. So the Knockouts are beating up the Elgins brand. I mean, who's next? We're gonna get Gail Kim? She's got a lawsuit still with TNA, so that's not gonna happen. We move on. Alright, then we get to Santino Marella and Sonya Deville. They're arguing over the main event. Sonya Deville not liking Santino picking sides. Okay. Alright, then we get the recap of how we got there. Then we get to the main event of Sacrifice for the TNA World Title. Mike Santana and Steve Maclin. It was a pretty good match. They beat the crap out of each other. I don't know how long it went because there was a ref stoppage. But we get near that, and Santino fights back, loads up a table before dropping Eddie Edwards. Wait, take it back. Let me take that back because Eddie was somehow got in there. So they start the match, and they're fighting, and then Maclin with a forearm, and then he runs runs back, hits the ropes, and Santana came running right at him, hits a super kick, and knocked Maclin down. And then the referee, what's her name? Alicia, I think it was Alice or Alicia Lane, I think her name is. She looked at Maclin, and Maclin looked like he could barely stand up. He got knocked for a loop. And then she did the X, so legit injury, and they took Maclin out because they were thinking he might have a concussion. Thankfully, he's fine. He put out a statement today saying he's fine. And everybody in TNA and pretty much everybody in TNA and all the WWE wrestlers on Twitter have been praising Alicia Lane for what she did, and I think she did a great job because if the match would have continued, I don't know what might have happened, but thankfully she was quick on her feet, saw that Maclin was kind of loopy and wasn't kind of getting up, because it looked like they were about to continue, but then Alicia's like, nope, X, and Maclin looked like he was gone. So, medical staff come out and check on Steve. Santana plays to the crowd a bit. Maclin stands up, but then dropped back down. So he looked like he legit had a concussion because he dropped back down to a knee, and then they took him out of the ring. Now, a lot of people saying, Peter, was he just playing around? No. If you call for an X, that's a legit injury, whether you think it's storyline or not. So he legit had a concussion. Or at least something towards what could have been a concussion. Could have had whiplash. I mean, you get kicked in the face by a super kick, you go, bleh, he might have got whiplash in his neck. Or legit got hit. I mean, he got knocked out. Knocked out or whiplash. One of the two. And, the referee had a call for the bell. I don't think that was the original finish. I think Maclin was supposed to win the belt. I don't know. But, anyway. So then Eddie Edwards comes out in street clothes, goes after Santana. Maclin gets taken out by the medics. The Maclin medical team, if you will. So the match is basically it was a minute and a half before the injury. So I can't really rate it. So Eddie Edwards fight. And Santana fights back, loads up a table, drops Eddie with spin the block. Then he top rope splash, puts Eddie through the table on the floor. And then we find out from Mackenzie Mitchell that Santana's declared the winner by no contest. What? It really should have been no contest. It should have been just referee stoppage. So Eddie didn't really cash in his shot. He was just there. It was just a brawl between him and Mike Santana. So there was no bell. So there's no match. So Eddie still has his Money in the Bank briefcase, if you want to call it that. So it's not too serious, but I think they're going to put Maclin in concussion protocol. So I don't know if they're going to do a rematch at Rebellion, or they're going to do it maybe after Rebellion, maybe on a live edition of Impact, or they're going to wait till maybe Slammiversary. I don't know. So we'll see what happens with that. Or whatever the next event after Rebellion is in May. So we'll see what happens with that. But glad Steve Maclin is not seriously hurt, but with concussions, you gotta worry, stuff like that. So all in all, I thought Sacrifice wasn't that bad. So I give it 7.25 out of 10 stars, and that's pretty much it. Alright, now let's quickly get to Ring of Honor Wrestling, which was okay. You know how Ring of Honor is on TV, on ringofhonor.com, ringofhonorwrestling.com, it's online. On Honor Club, because they're not going to get a TV deal ever. So Ring of Honor, once again, from WJCT TV in Jacksonville, Florida, and a commentary team of Ian Wicker Boring and the Pasta. Caprice Coleman at ringside. So we get that. Alright, so the show, like I said, was meh. Wasn't what it was. Alright, we start off with Lacey Lane, that's Kayden Carter. She won a match a few weeks ago and gets a CMLL women's title match. I don't know how she got it. I don't care. But she gets her shot. It was supposed to be against Mercedes Moné, who lost another belt over the, last night. The Primetime Wrestling women's title. So now she's down to one belt, if you want to call it. Now it's two. If we really gonna count the Owen Hart belt as an actual belt, then it's really kind of three. So I don't know which belts she has as indie trinket belts, which she'll probably lose next week. So she's not gonna have any belts besides the Owen Hart belt. And who knows when she's coming back? I think the tournament's starting soon. 'Cause I believe the finals are at Double or Nothing, and then we go right into the road to All In August, at the end of August. So we got that, but I would assume that Mercedes is going to be in it to possibly, repeat. Adam Page might be in it to repeat. I mean, we'll see what happens with that. But anyway, Persephone won the belt, and she's going to be defending against Kayden Carter. So, yeah, so don't go anywhere. We get that. Alright, so we get a little backstory for Persephone. She's from El Paso, Texas. That's Eddie's hometown. You ever hang out with her? I never seen her, but I like her a lot. She's very, very talented, Essie. Oh, she is. She's very sexy. I know. I would show them a Latina. Shut up, Eddie. Not you and your Latino heat, okay? You got Joni over there. Leave it alone, alright? Stop. There's so much of me to go around up here, Essie. I know. But just calm down. Muna. Alright, she's from El Paso, Texas, raised in Mexico. So he has a double nationality to bring her to the fight. So, pretty good. It was pretty good. Get some backstory for once on some people. So we move on with that. Alright, then after that, we get to the match, which was just under 9.5 minutes. So, Kayden Carter and Persephone. And we find out from Ian Rigoborin that Kayden Carter is going on a bit of a run here in Ring of Honor. Oh, now we're going Tony Schiavone. She's on a roll! And she's been losing 5 weeks in a row. Right, on a roll. Idiots. Anyway, she's 1-2 in the Ring of Honor, so she's not technically on a roll. But anyway, match itself was pretty damn nice. We got a chin lock, and Persephone's doing the whole, Jericho, ask her! Thing. But we get near the end, a spinning basement drop kick, interesting, drops Persephone, but she comes right back with a German suplex for a near fall, goes to the Razor's Edge, Chico. Something happened to this. Something happened to you, Chico. That gets broken up, and Kayden hits a reverse Nightmare on Helm Street. Reversed? What? That's crazy in itself to think about. Then even look at. But anyway, Persephone comes right back with a spear, then hits the Razor's Edge, Chico. 1, 2, 3, Chico, to retain the title. Good match. 3 out of 5 stars, and that's it. So, Persephone wins and retains the CMLL Women's title. That's that. Alright, then we got a quickie video on the grizzled young veterans, Drake and Gibson, along with their bestie, Isla Dawn, and their feud with Skyflight. That's my girl Zeta Steele and Darius and Dante Martin, along with Christopher Daniels. So we get to a 6-person tag. So it's Zeta Steele and Darius and Dante Martin taking on Gibson, Drake, and Isla Dawn. It was a pretty good match, too. So, most of the first part of Ring of Honor was actually pretty good. We get to the end, and Insigidi and a Springboard High Cross Body get a near fall on Drake. Isla Dawn cuts off a double flippy dibbity-doo from Top Flight. And then Zeta punches her right in the face. Darius rolls Drake up for a near fall, which sends the kick out, sending Darius into a form from Gibson. And then Drake's roll up with a handful of underwear, gets a near fall. Darius then insecures his way out of trouble. Gets the hot tag to save the steal. East of Dawn comes in. We got a hockey fight. Cat fight! And we got a cat fight in the hockey arena. Woo! So we got a cat fight. Zeta wins that. Grabs a rolling kick to head. 1, 2, 3. Hey, Zeta still gets a win. Why not? Just under 10.5 minutes. Match itself, again, 3.25 out of 5 stars. And that's that. Alright, then we're going to look at Bandito S.A., the Ring of Honor World Champion. Still. And his good buddies, Tommy Billington, the Dynamite Kid Jr., and the ever so popular Adam Priest, chasing off Lethal Twist last week. Or the Swirl, whatever. What do you want to call him? Lethal Swirl. Alright, so we have Blake Christian and Lee Johnson. They say Jay Lethal's not here right now. He was at Global Wars. Global Wars / Maple Leaf Wrestling, or MLP. Was it MLP or not MLW? Obviously, I think it was Maple Leaf Pro. I think it was MLP up in Canada, where you found out that Josh Alexander had to relinquish the world title because he's getting surgery. Well, that's not fun. So he's gonna be gone from the Don Callis family. Not that we care, but I hope Josh has a successful surgery. Let me move on. So they're fighting a team that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. Okay. Or as Bull from Nightcode would say, okay. Get that. Alright, then we get some Myron Reed, part of the Rascals. He takes on Monsieur of the MXM collection. Suppose. Rest of the seconds are out there. I really didn't give two craps about the match itself. It was decent, but it should have just been one-on-one. So we move on with that. And match itself was alright. Myron gets the win. Why not? Where was it? Okay. Myron gets the win after a springboard 450. Pins Monster. What else is new? And that's that. Match itself was kind of a downer. 2.5 out of 5 stars, and that's that. Then we get a recap of the forever champion Athena defending the women's title against Maya World, who got the shot by lasting the time limit. We saw that, I think, last week. So we got that later. But before we get to that, we have TMDK, Shane Haste, and his partner. I forgot who else. So TMDK take on Better Together. I don't know. Was Shane Haste and Nichols taking on Gold and Hater? Who? Who the fuck are these guys? I mean, really, who the fuck are these guys? I mean, who are you? What do you do here? I know who TMDK is, but Better Together, who are these guys? Anyway, 4-minute match. TMDK gets the win with the Elevator Slam. Finish it off. Gold, whoever the guy is, 4-minute match. Didn't care. That's that. Then we get an announcement for a match in 2 weeks with TMDK facing Roppongi Vice. Joy. A New Japan match. Why not? But it's great to get something in advance. But it's a Rocky Romero match. With him and maybe Trent. This could have been at Sakura Genesis, you know. Just saying. That's coming up next weekend, I believe. We move on with that. Garbage. Alright, then the Ring of Honor Pure Women's Champion, Deonna Purrazzo, ready to beat Giselle Shaw, which she did at Global Wars. So we got that. I'm not going to even remotely care about Global Wars right now. I'm not going to review it. I don't care. But anyway, before she gets to that, she has a Proving Ground match with Pure Rules against Robin Renegade, a person that has never won in Ring of Honor. We're still missing Charlotte, but it is what it is. But it's pretty much back and forth. Robin used her first rope break after backing backing Robin into the corner, so we get a rope break there. Then the threat of a Fujiwara armbar sends Robin into the ropes, but she's able to roll out of another attempt, so I don't think that was a second rope break. The trade forms until Deonna hits a clothesline. Robin knocks her down again. Middle rope moonsault missed. Deonna grabs a Fujiwara armbar. Tap out. Deonna gets the win. And that's pretty much it. It was a decent match. Not great, but decent. And Deonna's looking right at Athena right now. And I think I said this from pretty much not the beginning, but when Deonna won the Pure title, I had Deonna Purrazzo or Billie Starkz finally beating Athena and ending her almost 1,200 plus day reign as champ. I don't know when it's going to happen because we don't have a pay-per-view coming up for Ring of Honor. As of right now, we have nothing. No pay-per-views, nothing. So I don't know when Supercard is, which is usually around this time, but they did away with that last year. And we didn't have Supercard until September. Like, who knows when Death Before Dishonor is. So, we'll have to see. And that's that. Alright, then we get to probably one of the worst matches in Ring of Honor TV history. Captain Caveman, Nick Comoroto, takes on Anthony, wake me up before you a go-go. Match was garbage. And Anthony Go-Go wins. Sean D gets a cheap shot at Nick Comoroto. Pop-up right hand by a Go-Go knocked Nick Comoroto silly on the floor. He somehow beats the 10 count, even after a Go-Go put the UK flag over him. So he punches him out again. What? I didn't get that at all. The match was garbage. And I gave it 1.5 out of 5. Probably near a 0. It was just why. We move on. I can't. Alright, then we get to the women's TV title match. Red Velvet from your mama's kitchen defending against Trish Adora from the infantry. Trish is on a 3-match losing streak, but she has the big woman Christiane XO. Christiane XO. I'll get it out of my mouth. That's what she said. She jumps Red Velvet from behind, knocks her to the floor. She gets sent into the barricade for a 17 count, because it's a 20 count in Ring of Honor. And then gets caught in a weird over-the-shoulder stretch by Trish Adora back on the inside. This is not the first time Trish Adora is going after the world title. She went after the Women of Honor title before it became the women's title way back in 2019. When was that? It was during the pandemic era, basically. I think she got to the semifinals. Lost to Miranda Alizé, who lost to Sumi Sakai, I believe. It was Sumi Sakai. But, hey, where's Miranda Alizé these days? On the indie circuit, basically doing nothing with Tegan Nox. When Tegan Nox is pretty much about to retire, I don't blame her. Didn't have a great run in WWE, they screwed her up. Goes to AEW, and her and Miranda just basically lost the first couple matches, and they're like, gone. We don't need you. They got royally screwed there. It sucks, and I met Miranda when she got to Ring of Honor. Talked to her about that. About that. I didn't talk to her about that, but, I basically talked about the Women of Honor tournament, blah, blah, blah. It's like, you should have won. Yeah, she should have won. And I asked her, when are you going to be on Ring of Honor next? And she's like, well, whenever Tony needs me. And I told her, it's like, Tony Khan cannot book Ring of Honor. He can't. She's like, what are we going to do? I told her straight up, I could book Ring of Honor. I'd book Ring of Honor in a heartbeat. I'd make her the champ. Not being biased, but, you know, I put her in a nice freaking tournament. I have her maybe win or maybe get a shot down the line. I put her on almost every show because she's that good. I just don't understand why Ring of Honor and AEW fucked her twice. Not in a good way either. Now, I don't know, would she go to NXT? Would I want her in NXT? Yes, because they need a few more women there. But will they do anything with Miranda Alizé? I doubt it. So, I'd rather her just stay on the indie circuit, which kind of sucks, but, you know. For a woman that's that good, just stay on the indies for pretty much almost the rest of her life, sucks. I mean, she had a taste of the big leagues, but not a big taste and wasn't even that good. So, I mean, if Hickenbottom and Hunter and Nick Khan, man, you know, hey, they want to see her tapes, you know, send it in, see what they do. I wouldn't mind her being on NXT. I don't know if she's that good. She may go up to the main roster. I'd love to see it, but I'm rooting for her, but I just don't see it happening. I think she's going to be on the indie circuit in various promotions, winning various titles maybe, and then that's probably going to be it. It just sucks that these women that are so good in the indie circuit, yeah, they'll get a tryout match. Maybe they'll get, you know, maybe Tony Khan, put them on the show, see if they, you know, what they can do. Kind of like Viva Van, she was so good on the indie circuit, winning titles galore, and she comes to Ring of Honor and lost every fucking match. It's sad. Same thing with Lady Frost. She won the Wrestle Pro Women's title, and then she's lost every match in Ring of Honor. She's gone from AEW Ring of Honor, now she's back on the indie circuit. I just don't know. I don't know how you can fuck up those two women. Really, all three women, how you messed that up. But then again, you got so much, a sort of big roster in AEW and Ring of Honor anyway. But you need challenges for Athena and Deonna Purrazzo and Red Velvet. I mean, come on. Just like I said, Tony Khan cannot book Ring of Honor. He cannot. She just should have really left it to Delirious, who went, I don't know where he went. Well, besides banging Mandy, you bastard! He banged a Coney Island star. Holy shit. That's where Mandy Leon's from, by the way. Should have been me, but that's another story for another time. But yeah, I can't. I think Ring of Honor should just close shop at this point. The TV show is boring, and the only thing they got is the pay-per-views, which is usually pretty good. But anyway, get to this match. Actually, it was pretty good. 9-minute match. Christiane XO gets involved, gets up on the apron. Red Velvet goes for stir it up, missed it. Trish Doors very bridging German suplex, gets a near fall. Then a stunner! Back down, stunner! What? Hits Trish Adora, goes right back with a pump kick for a near fall. Then she hits straight out your mama's kitchen. That connects, but Christiane XO gets on the apron because she has to get involved even more. Red Velvet knocked her down, but gets power slammed by Trish Adora for a near fall. She goes for the Lariat Tubman and missed. And then Red Velvet gets in a sunset flip. 1, 2, 3 to retain the women's TV title in 9 minutes. Match was alright. Could have done without the interference. But was decent. And that's that. After the match, Christiane XO gets back in. Lays Red Velvet out. But then Zeta Steel, of all people, makes the save. And then we hear from Ian Riccoboni and the Pasta. Caprice Coleman. They say that Zeta had a quick showing on Dynamite on Wednesday night, because it was taped way before that. And then a whole bunch of trash talks. Looks like we're gonna get a tag team match, player. Where's Teddy Long when I need him? So it's probably gonna be Zeta Steel and Red Velvet teaming up against Christiane XO and Trish Adora. Probably next week on the show. Probably. I wouldn't say probably. I should say most likely will happen. But who knows? Who knows with that? Alright, then we get to the main event of Ring of Honor TV, and that's Athena defending her Forever Championship against Maya World, who won the Proving Ground match. And this match was pretty good and it lasted 20 20 goddamn minutes. We're getting to the end. Athena hits the O-face. Actually, no. Something like the big ending by Big E gives Maya World a near fall. Goes for her own O-face and missed. And Athena's like, this big try my move? And it says by tombstone. What? A tombstone, of all things, a tombstone. Well, it looked like a tombstone. For a near fall. Maya is dumped to the outside. Billy Starks, my girl Billy Starks, at ringside. She jumps Hyen the Huntress, who's there, defending her friend's honor. So they go inside. They head inside the ring. And then Diamante slips Athena the Ring of Honor Forever Championship. Belt shot to Maya World. Then throws the evidence out. Referees going crazy trying to get Billy Starks and Hyen out the ring. They finally get out the ring. Get the belt shot. And then Athena goes up top, hits the O-face. 1, 2, 3, and still your reigning, defending, undisputed Ring of Honor Forever Women's Champion, Athena, gets the win. That's it. Good match that it was. And then after the match, to end the show, we get a beatdown, and Billy Starks grabs a Fujiwara armbar on Maya World to end the show. I don't know where Deonna Purrazzo was. I think she was in Canada before that show happened. So I was thinking that Deonna would come out and save them, but obviously not. But I think down the line, we're going to get Deonna and Athena, maybe title for title, or maybe it's just straight up for the women's title, and Deonna's going to win, hold both belts. And then I would assume Athena's going to go right to the AEW main roster. Might appear in the Owen Hart tournament. And like she was, I think she did last year when doing she was in the semifinals with Mercedes Moné, and we all thought that was going to be a great match. That could have been a Ring of Honor women's title match, but no, it was a semifinal match. I was hoping Athena would win. Nope, Mercedes had to win because she won the tournament, but lost to Toni Storm at All In, and then Hangman won. He beat Moxley in that bloody as fuck match to win the title. So we'll see what happens this year. So we could see another Athena Mercedes Moné match, maybe in the finals of the tournament, if they get to that point, but we'll see. And that's that. But Ring of Honor was, as usual, self. So 6 out of 10 stars for Ring of Honor, and that's that. Alright, so that's it, everybody. I gotta get out of here. I gotta run some errands, and I gotta go to Sunday dinner with the missus. But once again, Impact, 6.5 out of 10 stars. Sacrifice, I gave 7 out of 10 stars. It was alright. Not great, but alright. And Ring of Honor this week, 6 out of 10 stars. So that's pretty much it. Alright, thanks for watching, everybody. I gotta get out of here. And that's it. Until next time, my friends. Be safe, be well. I'll be back later tonight with your Dynamite and Collision review over on my Peter Joseph channel. So another twofer for you. Instead of a 3-fer, we got a 2-fer. So, Dynamite Collision review coming up tonight on my Peter Joseph channel. And we're pretty much back on track with all the reviews for next week. Because it's a busy week. The next month is going to be really busy. So please hit that bell so you don't miss anything. Because if you do, well, you can't go back and watch it. Well, you're going to miss it. And then you're going to have to go back a couple videos to watch my reviews to get caught up. So you can't miss it. So please hit that bell so when those videos do go out to you, you'll be the first ones to see it. And if you're not getting my videos, then, well, I'm sorry. Unsubscribe, resubscribe, hit the bell, turn on all notifications again, and hopefully that works. If not, blame Neil and his team of monkeys who can't fix this godforsaken website. It's the way it is. The way it is, or just go to my pages, go to my channels, go to the latest videos or shorts, and watch them. That's all I can tell you. And that's it. Alright guys, I'm out of here once again. Thanks for watching, and until next time, peace!